My name is Amy, and I wanted to share a little bit about my mental health recovery journey in this video because I know I'm not alone. When I was thinking about this topic, I can see that my struggles with anxiety really date back to childhood. It's something I've experienced throughout my life, but I didn't really actually realize that anything was wrong until much later in my life. And part of that was because I think it was normalized, or at least I thought it was normal, that like nobody's really completely happy. And so I didn't necessarily think that was possible for me either. I thought it was normal that I didn't feel totally good. And the other part of that is as I got older, there were aspects of my anxiety that were rewarded by society. So especially as I got into college and then into my career, pieces that went along with my anxiety, such as perfectionism, such as people pleasing, were actually rewarded and were part of like what helped me build a life for myself. And so that kind of contributed to a lot of self-sacrifice and really a total lack of boundaries and boundary awareness. And it hit this point in my mid to late 20s where I would describe it as a mental health rock bottom. And previously, up until that point, I had had this experience with anxiety and depression as well, but I had been able to function through it. That rock bottom moment for me was a time period where my functioning was not able to be what it previously had been. And so it put me in this moment of reflection of like, oh, wow, how did I get here? And what does this mean? And what do I need to do differently so that I don't stay in this place now? So it led me to do a lot of questioning that I'd never really had to do up until that point. Questioning about myself and who I was, and also questioning about the world around me and what wasn't working for me and what was contributing to me feeling so badly. So I decided I had to do things differently. The first thing I did was get help. So I sought out therapy. I started some medication. I was on antidepressants for a year or two to help stabilize my depression so I could get to the point of being able to manage my symptomology myself. I went through a mindfulness-based stress reduction course where I learned about mindful yoga. I learned about meditation. I learned how to use those practices to soothe my physiology, to help soothe my anxiety naturally. I started looking deeper into myself. Up until that point, I hadn't thought there was really a problem. I didn't really think that I had any kind of trauma history because I don't have an extreme trauma history, but doing that self-exploration helped me realize that, I mean, we all have a trauma history of some way, and it helped me look at the ways that my previous past experiences were influencing my present experiences. So it opened up doors for me to be able to work on some of those deeper pieces of myself. I also had to make some major life changes. My therapist at the time asked me a question that I didn't know how to answer. She asked me, what would it look like to build a life that I didn't have to vacation from? Because a part of what I was realizing was that the way that I had structured my life around me, it was stressful to the point that I didn't know how to get well in some of those conditions. And so I had to start taking steps to change that. And some of that was my interpersonal relationships and those boundary pieces. And some of those are bigger pictures about what does it look like to me to have a career, to have a life, to have meaningful work that feels good to me. And it made me realize that for me, the normative workforce, the sort of like cookie cutter life option that we're presented with in this society was not going to make me happy. And so I had to make some major choices and walk out of that. I'm currently traveling in California, living in a van, living in intentional community out here. So I have really taken drastic steps to shake my life up in major ways. But I feel that even if that's not as drastic as a choice as other people might want to make, there are questions that can benefit us all, such as who are we underneath who we've been taught to be by society or by other people? How can we build a life for ourselves that we don't have to vacation from? What are even small steps we can take in that direction? And how do we learn to listen to ourselves? How do I listen to me and what I want more so than what other people want for me or what society wants for me? And those are things that I think can help all of our mental health. So if you're curious to follow me on my journey, you're welcome to follow me on YouTube, Amy Catherine West. And much love to all of you.